Today, we're dealing with the skill check system found in the core rulebook. You're going to have all kinds of skills on your character sheet. And if you don't have a skill, it doesn't mean you can't try it. Let's say you don't have perception. It doesn't mean you cannot try to perceive what is around you. Simply having the skill listed on your sheet means you already have one success or more if you have multiple instances of that skill appearing on your character sheet, sometimes from specializations, sometimes from the actual skill boards themselves. Skill checks will be done on one of the three colors, either red for physical, blue for mental, or green for spiritual. Now, depending on how the player describes what they want to do, you will determine the skill check. The game was designed in such a way that we want to coax out the narrative from players and in the way they describe what they do. So for example, let's go back to the perception skill check, for example. You walk into a room and you say, I'm looking for a key, and I know it's in here. I'm going to scan the room to see if anything's out of place. The way I describe that, the GM is probably going to say, this is going to be a blue mental perception check. But I could say the same thing by going back into that room and saying, you know what, I know there's a key in here. I'm going to ransack the room. I'm going to tear the walls apart, pull out the drawers, cut the mattress. That was going to make my perception check a physical one. And then maybe, if you want to get really creative, you can say, hey, how can I get this to be a spiritual check? Well, that comes down to your personality and the unspoken words. So perhaps you're going to take the chambermaid, toss her up on your lap, start flirting with her, whispering sweet nothings in her ear, and then you suddenly mention the key and see maybe her eyes dart somewhere where the key might be. And that would be spiritual because you are dealing at another metaphysical level in terms of trying to figure out what someone might be hiding from you. So by determining that first, ask the player to describe what they do. The GM then sets the trait that's going to be tested for, and then you're going to take your runes, shake them up in your bag, and draw a number of runes equal to your destiny. And we're going to put them on the playmat, and let's say we were doing this skill check as a physical perception check. We're looking for that key in the room. Then I would push any physical runes that I have forward into in play. Now, if I do have a void rune, so in most cases a player will have a void rune available to them, and let's say this void rune was bound to spiritual. Another rule that you can have in this game is you can have rune morphing, where you take two runes of the same color, stack them, and push them forward for one success of a different color. So if these two were green, I could stack them together, push them up into in play, and say I've got two successes on physical, and if I do have the skill perception, let's say I have it once, my final result is we go around the table, the GM say, how many successes did you get for physical perception? I would reply with 3. The GM will have a certain total that he's looking for you to beat. So let's say you needed 3 successes to get it. Well, then you have just the right amount. If he said it was really well hidden and you needed 4 successes, well, maybe you fail, but you fail forward with some sort of benefit. Like you couldn't find the key, but you found something else, maybe a clue as to where the key might be, or some other clue to the adventure. And if you over succeed, so let's say you only needed 2 successes and you had 3 successes, then perhaps the GM is going to throw in something else that you find that might be relevant for the quest that you have.